Dear listeners, today we begin a journey to the very beginning of human history, the story of the first man, Adam, peace be upon him. His story is not just about one person, but about all of us. It is the story of how we came to be, why we are here, and what our purpose in life is. Before the mountains stood tall, before the rivers flowed, before the stars shone in the sky, Allah decided to create mankind. From the dust of the earth, He shaped the first human, breathed life into him, and gave him knowledge beyond any other creation. This man was Adam, the first of his kind, the first to walk on earth and the first prophet. But Adam's journey was not easy. He was tested. He faced choices, mistakes, forgiveness, and redemption. He met Iblis, Satan, the deceiver, who swore to mislead mankind. He experienced the beauty of paradise, the sorrow of disobedience, and the challenge of life on earth. From Adam, all of humanity was born. His children spread across the earth, some following the path of truth, while others fell into falsehood. His story is a reminder that every human being has a choice, to follow the guidance of Allah or to be led astray. So, let us go back in time, to the very first moment when man was created. Let us uncover the story of Adam, his creation, his trials, and his legacy. Through his journey, we will learn about faith, patience, and the mercy of Allah. This is the story of the first man, the first prophet, and the first lesson for all of humanity. Let's begin. The creation of Adam. A long time ago, before there were people, Allah decided to create the first human. He wanted to make someone special, someone who could think, learn, and choose between right and wrong. So, Allah made Adam from clay. He shaped him into a man and breathed His spirit into him. Adam was now alive, and he was the first human ever. Allah gave Adam a special gift, knowledge. He taught him the names of all things. Adam could understand and speak, something no other creature could do. Allah then told the angels about Adam. The angels were surprised. They asked, why are you creating a human? Will he not make trouble and fight on earth? But Allah knew better. He told them, I know what you do not know. To show Adam's special knowledge, Allah asked the angels to name things. But the angels could not do it. Then Adam spoke and named everything Allah had taught him. The angels now understood that Adam was different. He was wise and had the power to learn. After that, Allah told all the angels to bow to Adam as a sign of respect. The angels obeyed, but one being refused, Iblis, Satan. Iblis was not an angel, but a jinn made of fire. He was proud and thought he was better than Adam. I will not bow to a creature made of clay, he said. Because of his pride and disobedience, Allah cursed Iblis and sent him away. But Iblis made a promise. He said, I will lead Adam and his children away from the right path. Allah warned him that only bad people would follow him, and in the end, they would be punished. Adam was now the first man, and he lived in paradise, Jannah. But his story was not over yet. Something would happen that would change everything. Adam and Hawa in paradise. Adam lived in paradise, Jannah, a beautiful place with rivers, trees, and everything he needed. But he was alone. Allah, in His wisdom, decided that Adam should have a companion. So Allah created Hawa, Eve, from Adam's side to be his wife. Now Adam was no longer alone, and they both lived happily in paradise. Allah gave them everything they needed. They could eat any fruit, drink from the rivers, and enjoy the beauty of paradise. But Allah gave them one rule. He pointed to a special tree and said, Do not eat from this tree. That was the only thing they were not allowed to do. For a long time, Adam and Hawa followed Allah's command. They stayed away from the tree and enjoyed their life in paradise. But Iblis, Satan, had not forgotten his promise. He wanted to trick them. He came to them in secret and whispered, Do you know why Allah told you not to eat from that tree? It is because if you eat from it, you will become like the angels. You will live forever. At first, Adam and Hawa did not listen. They remembered Allah's command. But Iblis kept whispering to them. He made the tree look more and more tempting. He made them doubt. Finally, one day, they ate from the forbidden tree. As soon as they ate, something changed. They felt different. They realized they had made a big mistake. They became ashamed and covered themselves with leaves. Allah's voice came and He asked them, "Did I not tell you not to eat from that tree?" Adam and Hawa felt deep sorrow. They knew they had disobeyed Allah. They said, "Oh Allah, we have done wrong. Please forgive us." Allah is most merciful, and He forgave them. But there was a consequence. They could no longer stay in paradise. Allah sent them down to earth, where they would have to work, struggle, and live as humans. Adam and Hawa were now on earth. Their life in paradise was over. But this was not the end of the story. It was just the beginning of life for all human beings. Life on earth begins. Adam and Hawa were now on earth. It was very different from paradise. In paradise, they had everything they needed, but on earth, they had to work hard to find food, water, and shelter. Life was not easy. Even though they had made a mistake, Allah did not leave them alone. Allah guided them and taught them how to live on earth. He showed Adam how to plant seeds, grow food, and make tools. Adam learned how to build shelter and protect himself. Hawa also learned how to take care of their home and help Adam. They had to work together to survive. The first children. After some time, Adam and Hawa had children. They were the first family on earth. Their children grew up, got married, and had more children. This is how the human race began. Every person on earth today comes from Adam and Hawa. Adam taught his children about Allah. He told them, "Always worship Allah alone. Obey His commands and stay away from evil." He reminded them about what had happened in paradise and how Iblis had tricked them. "Do not listen to Iblis," he warned. "He is your enemy." Iblis still tries to mislead. Even though Adam and Hawa had learned their lesson, Iblis had not given up. He was still angry and jealous. He whispered to the children of Adam, trying to lead them away from Allah. Some of Adam's children followed the right path, but others were tricked by Iblis and started doing wrong things. One of Adam's sons, Cain, became jealous of his brother Abel. Iblis whispered bad thoughts into Cain's heart. This led to a terrible event, the first crime in human history. Adam was very sad to see what had happened. He realized that life on earth was a test. People had to choose between good and evil, right and wrong. Some would follow Allah's path, while others would be misled by Iblis. Adam, the first prophet. Before Adam passed away, Allah made him the first prophet. A prophet is someone who teaches people about Allah and guides them to the right path. Adam taught his children and grandchildren to worship only Allah and to be good to one another. Adam lived for many years. Some say he lived for more than 900 years. Finally, when his time was over, he passed away, and his children buried him on earth. But Adam's story was not forgotten. His children continued to live on earth, and the human race grew. The test of life continued, and many prophets would come after him to guide people back to Allah. The first generation of humans. After Adam passed away, his children and grandchildren continued to live on earth. They spread out and formed families, building small communities. They learned how to farm, make clothes, and build homes. Life was still hard, but Allah guided them and helped them grow in knowledge and skills. The first disagreements. As time passed, some of Adam's children followed his teachings and worshipped only Allah. But others started to forget Allah's guidance. They listened to Iblis, who whispered evil thoughts into their hearts. Some people became jealous, greedy, and unkind to each other. One of the first great tests came when Qabil, Cain, and Habil, Abel, two of Adam's sons, had a disagreement. Allah asked them both to give a sacrifice to test their sincerity. Habil's sacrifice was accepted, but Qabil's was not. This made Qabil jealous. Instead of learning from his mistake, he listened to Iblis. Iblis whispered, "Your brother is better than you. If you get rid of him, you will be happy." Blinded by jealousy and anger, Qabil killed his brother Habil. This was the first murder in human history. As soon as it happened, Qabil felt terrible. He didn't know what to do with his brother's body. Then Allah sent a crow to show him how to bury the dead. Qabil realized his mistake and felt great regret. But it was too late. His crime had already been committed. The spread of humanity. Despite this tragic event, Adam's family continued to grow. His children moved to different lands and many generations passed. People developed new skills and ways of living. They made better houses, discovered new foods, and created tools. Some of Adam's descendants remained faithful to Allah and lived righteously. But others followed their own desires and forgot the teachings of Adam. They started worshiping false gods and following evil ways. This made Iblis happy because his goal was to turn people away from Allah. Allah's promise. Even though some people went astray, Allah never left humanity without guidance. He sent prophets to teach people the truth and bring them back to the right path. Adam was the first prophet, but many more would come after him. These prophets would remind people to worship only Allah and live good, honest lives. The story of Adam and his children teaches us that life is a test. People must choose between good and evil, right and wrong. Those who follow Allah's guidance will find success, but those who follow Iblis will be lost. Would people learn from Adam's story? Would they listen to Allah and follow the right path? The journey of humanity was just beginning. Chapter 5. The Legacy of Adam. As the generations passed, the children of Adam spread across the earth. They built homes, grew food, and formed different communities. Some people lived in valleys, some near rivers, and others in the mountains. Life on earth was full of challenges, but Allah gave humans knowledge to help them survive. The first believers and disbelievers. From the beginning, people were given a choice. 1. Follow Allah's guidance and live a good life. 2. Follow Iblis and his whispers and fall into evil. Many of Adam's children remained true to Allah's commands. They worshipped him alone, helped each other, and lived in peace. But some people listened to Iblis, Satan. They became greedy, selfish, and started fighting. Some even forgot about Allah and began worshipping things like the sun, the moon, and statues. This was the first time false worship began in human history. Iblis was happy because he wanted people to forget Allah. But Allah, in His mercy, did not leave people in darkness. He sent more prophets to remind people of the truth. The role of prophets. Adam was the first prophet, but after him, Allah sent many more prophets to guide people back to the right path. These prophets taught, worship only Allah, do good deeds and help others, stay away from evil and lies. Some people listened to the prophets, while others ignored them. This continued for many, many years. Adam's wisdom and final advice. Before Adam passed away, he gathered his children and gave them important advice. He said, 1. Always remember Allah. He created you and gave you everything. 2. Do not follow Iblis. He is your enemy and only wants to mislead you. 3. Be kind to each other. Help those who are weak and in need. 4. Teach your children the truth so they do not forget Allah. After a long life, Adam finally returned to Allah. The angels came and took his soul gently, and the first man ever created left the world. His children buried him on earth, just as Allah had shown them. The beginning of a long journey. Adam's story was not just about one man. It was the story of all humanity. His choices, his mistakes, and his wisdom were lessons for all people. Every human being is a descendant of Adam, and every person has the same test. Will you follow the truth, or will you follow falsehood? Will you choose good, or will you choose evil? Will you remember Allah, or will you forget Him? The journey of humanity had only just begun. Many prophets would come after Adam, each bringing the same message: worship Allah and do good. The test of life would continue, and every human would have to choose their own path.